Greg. You heard the whistle. Welcome, people. Welcome. So we are. I'm actually going to talk about a little bit about the events happening to our friends in the UK, especially in London. So I do want to talk a little bit about it. I don't know. Hello, Steve. I don't know if anybody's interested because of the timing. You know, typically I don't like to scope on a day like this, but we'll see. You know, just got to get at least a discussion going and see what interest people have in talking about it. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. In the meantime, we'll play one more song. Touchy. didn't even know when I guess we crossed the 28 million kind of invisibly there. I don't scope that often anymore, so I guess it snuck in one of these days when I wasn't actually scoping. So very surprising. So yes, Lenny PR said wave. So let me play one more before I start talking. Give us a little bit of peace for a second here. So let me just play. Thank you. Let me just play the wave here, or wave. That's a request, if I can remember how to play it. The news is right there. You watch the screen. Okay, that was 3 songs, which is unusual. I don't usually play 3, I play 2. So, welcome, and at least it got the chance to bring the people in tonight, because I actually didn't know if anybody was going to watch tonight with such going-ons, with our friends in the UK. I actually, usually on a day like this, I probably wouldn't scope. Hello, Video Branders, and Ali, and Lenny, and Jeff Bird, and John Apples. John, how are you doing, John? Keith. So, someday my pickle will something. Okay, and nice toes. So, welcome. The news is right there in the corner, so you don't have to leave to find out what's going on. Apparently, I just saw that they killed 3 of the suspects. You're Northeast PA. I'm Anderson Biz. Oh my gosh. How the Zuck am I going to remember that? People are like changing names because of what I said. And now I have to rememorize everyone again. That like, who is Zucking who? So, hello folks. So I'm Fig Bomb, Vests, and Knives. What the Zuck? So, unfortunately, the way that this is true of any way of attacking. You attack one way, and society changes, and something changes to prevent that way. It's just been the way of the world since Darla, Polar Bears, Darla. So I mean, your message is getting through, not changing. This is my video editing Twitter. Things are never the same. So obviously the people at stupid ISIS there coming up with different ways every day, and they're saying, okay, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do bombs, we can't do this, so we're gonna go drive cars into people. And yes, when driverless cars happens, they're going to say, okay, let's hack those driverless cars to plow into people or do whatever people are thinking they want to do, they'll be able to do. That's just the way of let me readjust this because I'm out of frame here. There we go. I was kind of disappearing from the frame. Slaughter innocent women, children. Did you write the doctor software called Epic? No, I did not write Epic, but I actually wrote it at the same time as Epic. Epic was one of my first competitors. So so yes, I'm very familiar with Epic. So anyway. So apparently 3 male suspects shot and killed, and earlier I thought they were still looking for these men with 12-inch knives shouting Allah Akbar or whatever they were shouting. Sorry, my surgeon uses it. Anyway. This terrorism will increase right now. There's no doubt. There's no doubt there will be more terrorism in the short run. I'm not thinking that this is going to stop. In the short run, it's going to increase. In the short run, it's going to increase, and fortunately, they're also killing themselves. I'm hoping that someday they'll run out because they've killed all of themselves. So will security, sadly. But that's not really what I'm thinking about. And what I'm thinking about is a bit longer term. And I just want to talk about terrorism in general and the effect on society and what this will cause to happen. This is kind of a bigger fear because the UK is already prepared more than any country. The UK is actually one of the countries more highly prepared for terrorism than most countries. Certainly more than most cities in the U.S. Maybe New York is pretty much prepared for terrorism because they've experienced it. But let's say you go to a medium-sized town. I don't think they're really prepared for that. For example, if you go to a place like Milwaukee, or or Charlotte, North Carolina, or someplace like that, it's not going to be the same kind of surveillance that you will find in London. London is is a very, very highly surveilled society, and I'm just gonna describe to you all the things that they do there. Yes, 30. I just saw that 30 injured, 3 suspects killed, and London. Yes, that's exactly my point about London. London has a camera in everywhere. London is a very unusual place because I'm not sure if there's any country or any city, specifically a city, that's so wired with cameras as London is. In fact, you go into a stadium in London and they're doing facial recognition just as you go into a soccer match. So I remember Ron Waxman, going in with Beck Boop into one of those stadiums, and of course Michelle, and of course the cameras are already doing facial recognition on them, and they actually admitted they're doing that. They're doing facial recognition as you walk into a stadium, and the UK, it's one of the more advanced ones when it comes to this, and it's growing. So the UK has 60,000 cameras. Somebody said, I don't know actually. Yeah, the how do you pronounce that? Emirates Stadium? How do you pronounce that? So you go into the stadium and your photo is being taken for facial recognition, and you walk outside. As you walk from corner to corner of the street, they can actually spot you. So very easily, if there's a terrorist attack that's happened, like for example over in well, she doesn't live nearby. She works right there by London Bridge. She works in one of those buildings right there. That's why she goes and scopes on London Bridge all the time, and she's always at Borough Market all the time. So she's right there. She's in that exact spot. In fact, she's done so many scopes right on London Bridge itself. So, depending on the timing, she could have been there. She could have been there when, this incident happened. She could have been plowed right there. So it's, we have facial recognition. Boarding process. So the UK itself is probably better equipped at actually identifying these people, perhaps even though they can't identify them immediately. Before it happens, at the moment, they may be able to identify them as they're in the process of doing it, or immediately after. They can go backtrack the cameras and see where these people came from, and then find out where they live, and find out some other traces of electronic traces on them. And this is why they're easily able, like even in Manchester, within moments of the attack, they already got the brother. So the UK is kind of uniquely able to do this because they have turned into a bit of a surveillance society. They thought they already stepped. There's always police presence in this area, of course, because it's a tourist zone. So it's the surveillance society in the UK is very well. For one, UK now requires that all of your search history and anything you do on the internet be stored for residents of the UK. So if you're going to be in the UK, somebody's going to store all of your. Not that they don't do it here. Of course, they do it here as well. But not sanctioned by the government. They do it. Well, they do it anyway. The government does it, but they don't tell you they do it. But they basically track everything you've searched for, so they can go back in time and say, oh yeah, this terrorist did do something on Facebook and was collaborating with somebody from ISIS and traveled to Libya and this and that, and so they actually know this. And this kind of society is being promoted. Trust me, you can use Start Page and do all this, but at the government level, they can have access to things that you can't really stop. So when somebody wants to, and I can talk about that in a moment. Just what we're talking about. Yes, there's two ways of surveillance that somebody asked me on the radio. I was interviewed on the radio just a couple days ago, last Thursday. I was interviewed on the radio, and if you're looking for the replay, I put it on YouTube under Braxme account on YouTube. So if you follow me on YouTube on the Braxme account, I streamed it live, and it was the interview I had with WBZ AM Radio, which is the CBS AM station. It's the largest one. It's the largest one in the AM station in the country, and it's a CBS affiliate. So I was on that CBS station last Thursday, and actually this was what it was brought up about. We'll check it out. Yes, please follow me on Twitter, on YouTube, under Braxme. By the way, I'm streaming the Skynet right there on the right side. That's actually on the Braxme app right now. So I'm actually streaming that from the app Braxme, which is my app. So that's actually being streamed from there, and you can watch it and make comments and whatever in a private platform. So that's actually happening now. Anyway, not Skynet. That's Sky News. About as deep as we can get on cybersecurity level. So anyway, back to what I'm saying with the surveillance society. Over in the UK, they're actually tracking. First time I see it, Tony can't see it because he's in Canada. So yeah, if you can see it only if you're apparently in the US. Apparently Sky News doesn't want to show their channel in Canada because they say the Zucking Canadians. We don't want the Zucking Canadians to watch the Zucking News. But you can, if you're not from Canada, you can see it. So anyway, back to what I was saying about the surveillance society. This is the problem with terrorism. Terrorism makes people mad. Terrorism makes people mad. There you go, get a VPN. Terrorism makes people mad, and the natural response is we need to find out these people in advance, and politically then it becomes a sound way of solving a problem by going deeper into what we refer to as mass surveillance. You have to watch it on CNN. Mass surveillance. So mass surveillance is being promoted by terrorism. So it's actually two fears of terrorism. One of the fears of terrorism is, of course, killing people and putting fear into you. That's one. And I do think that's kind of short-lived. I don't think that's sustainable, which I will explain. But the next problem is that terrorism leads to a surveillance society. Terrorism promotes a surveillance society. Because of terrorism, we start to say it's okay to do mass surveillance, and it's okay to track every single citizen of the UK and every single citizen of the United States because we want to track terrorists. And then this is being used as an excuse in the future. What will happen? This is what will happen because of the surveillance society. People being born today, babies being born today, are already being surveilled from day one. Everything that they do is on the internet, social media. Every thought, every idea. At the moment, it's not yet complete. It's not yet a complete story. But I'm telling you, the generation that is born today, by the time they reach their adulthood, by the time they're in their 20s, then we get into a whole different state of affairs because the surveillance data on each and every citizen will be so complete, they will actually know every thought you've ever had as a baby. They will know everything you've done as a kid. They will know that you tend to be, they will know that you will tend to be a type that will tend to be a terrorist. They're tracking this now, they're recording, the data is incomplete. This data has been increased every day, And and this is probably the biggest positive, if so to speak, of the surveillance society, is that in the future, because we're letting it happen, and it will happen, in the future, not only are we dealing with a state where every single citizen is going to be known, and your ideas will be tracked, so that they know what idea that will be emitted from your brain before you emit it. Like the Person of Interest TV show. They will know exactly what that is. This, however, is the danger. This is the danger, and this is why I hate terrorism, because the consequences of this are more long-term. The consequences go beyond just the terrorism. The terrorism right now, yes, you will catch every terrorist, but our ideas will also be pre-screened. And anytime we differ from the mainstream idea, then we will be also be tracked. And this is a little bit different in the new age. Again, for those of you who have not really listened to me, I'm just gonna make sure that you understand the kind of history that I'm trying to tell you. In the future, robotics will be not just prevalent, but will be an extremely big part of our life. Robotics in everything, and I don't mean just mechanical robots that clean your house and do your zucking dishes. I'm talking about robotics that will do work. Robotics that will do work. Okay? So robotics will be a part of our lives, and in 20, 25 years, we're approaching this stage that I referred to, or is referred to, as the singularity. Hello, Fresh. Here is Deborah. So Wally. So anyway, the robotics of the new age will. I guess most of you are really. This is a distant thought. I know this is a distant thought to most of you, and I'm telling you right now that even Bill Gates is saying we need to have a robot tax, because the robots will take our jobs. The robots will take our jobs, so therefore we need a robot tax, because who's gonna pay for? We used to have employment tax, and now we don't do employment tax because the robots will do our jobs. So what will happen in the future is a world where robots are connected to central computerized databases of information about everyone's thoughts. So some of these zucking ISIS people right now, your days are zucking numbered. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, EU voted about robot rights. I'm telling you right now, zucking ISIS, your days are zucking numbered. You think you can escape this electronic world. You are not going to escape this electronic world, ISIS. The rest of us can't. You especially won't escape it, zucking ISIS. You're going to be zucking crushed. Yes, fortunately, we don't have to worry about ISIS in the long run. Fortunately, ISIS will be the least of our concerns in the long run. We'll have other concerns. We will have other concerns because we will also be attacked by a police state run by robots, because we are letting it happen. This is the problem that is actually going to get bigger. So yes, right now, ISIS and all this will be big on the agenda for the moment. It will be big. It will big. The AI is overrated. Unfortunately, I wish it were overrated. I wish it were overrated. Unfortunately, that is not the case. That is not the case. I wish it's going to be overrated. RoboCop, think about the RoboCop case. RoboCop case, think about a real robot, a real person trying to do, handle a terrorist. A real terrorist, a real policeman is not going to go walk into a terrorist, held, with hostages and openly do something in there, because you never know what's going to happen. But with robots, it's a whole different case. They already did that, and with that, they blew up that guy in Dallas. So what can AI? Don't think about today. Don't think about AI today. Think about what I'm talking with singularity. So let me just for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, let me just back up a bit here. Okay, we are building a database of complete information about every human being. We are getting there. One of our problems is we can't sift through the data because we don't have the analysis tools or the computing power to analyze all this data. We are collecting the data now. The data is being collected, and the data is being collected at a pace that's incredible just in the last decade. So at the moment there's still gaps because since the collections only happened in the last 10 years or so, so people who have no internet presence, the last 10 years may only have 5 years of data. So it's incomplete information. The children being born today are in social media from day one. Their parents are posting themselves on Facebook even when they're babies, and as they go to school, they're being posted on the internet. By the time they get to be a teenager, every single activity is posted on the internet and every single thought, and they can't escape it because there will be no way to escape it. Like today, there's no way to even do anything without connecting to the internet. It's just the way it is now. You can't do anything without being connected to the internet. You can't buy anything. You can't do anything. So somebody is collecting all this information. How do you manage a driverless car without being connected to the internet? A driverless car, which will be a standard thing in the next few years, is connected to the internet, and it's a robot. A driverless car, yes, a Black Mirror episode, exactly. I've only watched a couple of episodes of Black Mirror, but that was enough to show me the picture. And in a few years, driverless cars will be the beginning of robotics actively in our lives, because a driverless car is a robot, and it's being combined with this perfect collection of information, which the UK is very good at collecting at the moment. They're collecting everyone's internet data openly and stating it so, and then plus the camera and the facial recognition. And the facial recognition is your new chip. Everyone can be chipped just by having a copy of your face. And I'm not sure there's any escape from that, because especially government agencies have a photo ID of you, your driver's license, your passport, and all of that will be standardized. So with the collection of data and all of this that's happening, the future is not looking good for you zucking terrorists. For you zucking terrorists, the future isn't looking good for you. I would say your model is going to be, zucked up. And you know what, zucking terrorists, you're thinking you're being oppressed now, that's why you're doing this? You think you're being oppressed now, you zucking terrorists, by doing this? You are going to be crushed. You are going to be crushed. You are going to be crushed. Here's what's going to happen, terrorists. The moment you're zucking born, they're already tracking you. You're not going to be able to move around. You're not going to be able to move around the world because they will be tracking you. It will know every zucking thought that you have. So zucking terrorists, you are going to be zucked. I don't have to worry about terrorists, and I'm worried about terrorists now, but I'm not going to be worrying about terrorists. You're not going to have to worry about terrorists in the future. You are not. I don't think you can sustain this with the kind of data collection and tracking and surveillance in society. No. We're going to have to suffer through this, and it'll be increased terrorism at this age. There will be increased terrorism right now, yep. But in the long run, ISIS, you are going to be zucked. Clearly, ISIS, you are going to be zucked. And you know what? You think you're winning? You think you're winning. By the time this happens, you are going to be so zucked there will be none of you around. Okay? So we think, hey, this is a zucking great world. No zucking terrorists. Zucking great world, no zucking terrorists. Well, there are no zucking terrorists in North Korea either. During Hitler's time, they didn't have zucking terrorists either. With any kind of dictatorship, there are no zucking terrorists. There are no Zucking terrorists in a dictatorship. There are no Zucking terrorists in a police state. This is why the fear will shift. I'm just saying that it's kind of, yeah, the Saddam didn't have any terrorists either. So yes, that's correct, Vet. And that's what worries me, is I hate terrorists in a big way because they run counter to what I'm talking about. They're like an argument against what I'm arguing about. I'm arguing about that the government needs to stop mass surveillance. Every time there's a terrorist event, it justifies mass surveillance. So I'm being zucked every day. I'm saying, we don't want a society of mass surveillance. We want freedom of expression, liberty, freedom of thought. And mass surveillance and all this leads to loss of freedom and loss of liberty. And unfortunately, the Zucking terrorists are fighting against my Zucking principles. So I am Zucking pissed off every time there's a Zucking terrorist event, because they are running counter to my Zucking message. Running counter to my message. And unfortunately, yes, Dutch Mass, unfortunately, what will happen is that we will be driven by the extremists. The John McCains of the world will go around and say, see, I told you so. We need to do more spying. And Obama will say, yep, it's right. I did the right thing by increasing the spying. I did the right thing by increasing the spying because I'm concerned about terrorism. I'm worried about what Trump's going to do. So far, I don't know what he's going to do, but it worries me that they're going to say, hey, let's do more spying because it's the only way to stop terrorism. No, it's not the only way to stop terrorism, but the problem is this is the easy answer. Let's go to a police state so we stop terrorism. And the effect of this in the long run is a much bigger issue, and it really, really concerns me. It really, really concerns me because I'm saying, oh my gosh, what are we going to do for the future? What is our world going to look like? What is our world going to... you really think AI will gain consciousness? Shreddy... McCain needs to be on the farm. Shreddy, you really need to be informed of what's possible. First of all, let me introduce you to the word singularity. Singularity is what I fear. Singularity is a word that was created by Ray Kurzweil in the 70s. He wrote a book about the coming singularity. I forget the exact title of the book, but it's about the coming singularity. And Ray Kurzweil is an electronics engineer and did a lot of stuff with voice recognition and all that, and keyboards even, and any number of electronic devices. And this was in the 70s. And Ray Kurzweil, you have Kurzweil keyboards, Kurzweil chips for voice recognition, and so on. And Kurzweil predicted that singularity will happen, and that the singularity, he's not a bad man. He just predicted something. He's not causing the problem. He's just predicting it. Ray Kurzweil wrote this book in the 70s, and he predicted that the singularity will happen, and the singularity is defined as a stage when computer AI, or artificial intelligence, will be smarter than people. Computer AI will be smarter than people. That is really what good Modid. So anyway, somebody will say, well, the singularity isn't really going to happen. It's really not a it's a dream state, whatever. Unfortunately, Ray Kurzweil now works for Google. Ray Kurzweil works for Google now. And here's the other unfortunate thing that I'm going to let you know. Remember, Ray Kurzweil works for Google, so he's an insider. He knows the technology that they're building. He knows what kind of technology they're building. And by the way, watch the movie Ex Machina, which is really about the singularity for Google. That's what that movie is about. It's a singularity for Google with robotics. And in Ex Machina, that's the name of the movie. And the Ex Machina, it's a sexy movie.
uh, the singularity as an event is actually predicted by Google. Remember, they have the guy that did the singularity. They predict that this will happen between 2030 and 2040, which is, in 25 years, 25, 30 years, 25 years, yeah. Yeah, ex machina, put an A at the end of that, ex machina. So put an A at the end, not machine, ex machina, yeah. So they, with Ray Kurzweil they're actually predicting this will happen in between 2030 and 2040, which is, as I'm saying, it's around 25 years. So in 25 years, they're predicting that computers will be smarter than people. And remember, this is not a one-time event. It will grow to that. In 10 years, the computers will be getting there. In 15 years, they'll be getting closer. In 20 years, they'll be close. In 25 years, we're zucked. Okay? So this is really what they're saying. And by the way, Facebook agrees with that. If you see the predictions of Facebook, and Facebook is one of the ones big on AI or artificial intelligence. Facebook and Google are the two biggest companies focused on AI, and they're predicting that this will happen in the next 25 years. So this is not a joke. They actually predict this will happen in 25 years, and certainly that means it's the beginning of the movie The Terminator, or what we refer to as Skynet. Skynet. So how can there be terrorism under Skynet? There'll be robots, just like in the Skynet movie. There will be a collection of data in a centralized database, just like we predicted in the Skynet in the Terminator movie. And there we go. We're going to have zucking Terminators. So suddenly, what we're talking about as a dream situation is suddenly now going to be reality in 25 years. And this is the time when these kids are being born today. The future terrorists of today are zucked. So if you're ISIS, you know what, ISIS? Your zucking model is zucking bad. You need to close down shop. You need to close down shop, ISIS, because your zucking model is zucked up. You have a zucked up model. It's not going to work in the long run. You're basically hopeless. You're thinking you're going to help your people in some way and promote your ideology. And I'm going to tell you right now that Zuck and Eric Schmidt and Sergey Brin and these guys will make sure you're zucked up, and they can find you anywhere because they'll have 23andMe on all of you and find your zucking DNA and go figure out. So you're all zucked up. You're going to be zucked up. Okay? So yes, I don't believe, oh my gosh, we just suddenly popped to over 100 here. I don't believe that terrorism can survive this new society. AI will turn Google off. Yeah, you're kind of a Luddite like ISIS, aren't you? No, I'm the opposite of a Luddite. In fact, I'm the tech guy. I'm just the insider. I'm the tech insider. The reason I tell you this is I'm the insider. I'm telling you how it's happening. I'm a big tech guy. I'm a big tech guy, and I'm telling you what's happening. What's happening, man? I'm telling you what's happening. And I'm saying to you that ISIS, you're zucked. And who do you know is going to zuck you, ISIS? Facebook. Zuck. This may be the only positive thing I can say about Zuck. He will actually cause the end of terrorism. Now, like I said, it will cause dictatorships and a new globalist police state. Yes, it will cause that, but there won't be any terrorists. There won't be any terrorists. We don't have to worry about terrorists in this future age. There won't be any terrorists. So guys, don't worry too much about terrorism. It will be zucking gone. It's VK investing in AI. They're not big enough to invest in AI, but Facebook and Google is very big. So they're going to be zucked. So I'm telling you right now that the zucking ISIS model. You know what, ISIS? You just might as well just kill yourselves and all suicide stuff. Just kill yourself, because there you have no zucking chance. No, because the AI bots will be centrally controlled. No, they're going to be zucked up. They're going to be zucked up. They're just going to be no chance. You can't go hide in the zucking internet. We're all going to be zucking connected. What the consequences is, I'm going to just shift my discussion and say, My fear is that it's not going to be terrorist issue in 25 years. I'm not going to be worried about terrorists. I'm going to be worried about the police state, the big brother. The thing described in the book 1984. That's what it's coming to. And terrorism will have driven us to that state. So these zucking terrorists are driving us to a zucking police state. Yeah, to totalitarian, not even a government, like a globalist kind of, there will be no show me papers. What papers needs to be shown? They take a picture of your face and you're walking down the street. They already know who you are. Ripping, tripping. They will already know what you are. So that's the plan. So you're there's no show papers. There will be no. So these terrorists are doing more damage than you even think. They're not just doing damage and fear and destroying people and objects and putting fear into our system. They are doing more than that. They are actually upsetting the world order. They are bringing us closer to a state that will bring their own destruction. I'm telling you right now that ISIS and all these Zuckers are bringing their own destruction, but they will bring destruction on all of us, including all the Muslims. They will bring destruction on themselves. They're doing a lot that we don't think about. They're doing destruction on themselves. This is why I hate terrorists. Hate them. Hate them. Because it's like, what the Zuck? I'm trying to stop governments from doing mass surveillance, and these Zuckers are saying, let's attack you more, then there will be more Zucking surveillance. It's like a dirty bomb will ruin you. Well, if a dirty bomb happens, oh my gosh, there is no way we can escape mass surveillance then. Another Anderson. I know, it's like, you're making me dizzy with all these Andersons in here. And they still use your real Zucking name. So basically, these terrorists are actually making it worse for us in more ways than you can imagine, with long-term effects that we can never shake off. long-term effects that we can never shake off. So it really, really bothers me. And by the way, with my important topic here, of course, nobody's going to watch me. So with all this, with all the stuff that By the way, I'm interested to. I'm thinking to myself, what will happen to Islam as a religion, considering the new society that will say we're going to track every thought. They're going to be affected in a very negative way, very, very negatively. So you're with me till the end. They will be affected. Islam as a religion will be. There's no way around this. It's just when you go into mass surveillance, they will choose the religions that will be chosen by the powers to be, because every thought will be tracked. So if it depends on who's running the show. Depends on who's running the show. So that's, this is the fear. Whose team are you on? If you're on the winning team, then you say, yeah, that's good. So Judaism will survive because Zuck will make sure of that. Zuck will be the one choosing it. Zuck will choose, and Zuck will decide, okay, Judaism will be the winner because Zuck controls it. So anyway, although Zuck is very tolerant of people and religion, so you never know. But he might just say no religion, but he kind of like he got religion lately. He used to be an atheist. Zuck used to be an atheist, and now he's not an atheist anymore. Letting terror slip through to move these Muslim bans along. So he's agnostic like me. No, he's not agnostic anymore, Michelle. He is not agnostic anymore. He definitely got religion. He announced that he got religion. He said he used to be an atheist. Now he got religion. Yeah, he got religion. So now he'll be able to choose religions and say, oh, we're going to choose. And Zuck will say which ones will survive. And we'll see. We'll see what he has a family. So I don't know his wife's religion. I presume it's. I presume. I don't actually know what the wife's religion is. The wife is Chinese, right? I don't know what the wife's religion is. You don't get religion. Well, he got religion. He said, "I got religion," or whatever the words were. He got religion. So we'll be Zucked. Zack and find out. We'll be crucified again. So anyway, we'll be crucified. Oh my gosh! Certain scientists are all of a sudden theists. Yeah, I believe in Zuck Buddhism. So is the wife a Buddhist? Oh my gosh! So what will survive? Buddhism and Judaism. So that will be the religion of the future. With this, what is the heck is this discussion? I'm so lost. Do you have to be found? Can't we just have a discussion for discussion's sake? Oh my gosh! It's like everybody has to go track what I say here. So yes, you can watch the replay and get into everything I say because I've said a lot of things. Anyway, back to what I'm saying is the way that technology is changing, and this is really a convergence of current ways of fighting whatever your ideology is. In this case, ISIS is promoting an ideology of the caliphate, right? That's what the ISIS. George Washington was a terrorist. Yeah, I guess to the British. The idea of the ISIS caliphate, I think it's all a zucked up concept now because it's. I'm going to tell you just to summarize my point, where technology is headed. ISIS, your idea of a zucking caliphate, you're zucked. You're zucked. That's what I'm saying to you. Okay? If you think ISIS that you have a chance in the next 20 some years, you will be slowly obliterated. Terrorism as a concept will be slowly obliterated from society because there will be new problems, and that isn't going to be terrorism. Terrorism is going to be blasted out. Yeah, very short. Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, with your ideas there, ISIS, you might as well kill all of yourselves now in mass suicide, because you probably don't have a chance. In 10 sucking years, it's already going to be very difficult for you to do anything. In 15 zucking years, barely. In 20 zucking years, already zucked. Okay. In 20 zucking years, we're not going to hear a trace of. You're going to just watch this prediction. If I'm still alive by then, if any of you are still alive by then, you'd say, well, this Rob Music guy said something about this in the year 2017. And he said, we will have a different problem. It's going to be related to AI problems. And people will say to me, wow, you really predicted this AI thing. And people are not realizing that the AI problem is bigger than any problem that you are facing today. It's only now that people like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Zuck, are even mentioning the idea of the walls won't matter. Walls won't matter because they're going to track your movements anyway. You're all going to be chipped in a way that you don't even need a physical chip. So Elon Musk understands that this new AI state that will happen to us during the singularity is a big deal. He's thinking about it. He's a billionaire. He's thinking about it. Bill Gates is a billionaire. He's thinking about it. They all understand that the simple robots you see in Boston Dynamics over in Boston is just the edge of this thing that you will just see in big numbers. And with robotics comes changes in society, changes to society in such a big way. One of the changes that you will see in the short run will be the driverless cars. And again, people don't understand that driverless cars are actually robots. You don't understand that part. Driverless cars are called autonomous vehicles. They're given these fancy names that will save your life with efficiency and prevent accidents. And you can go do your zuck book while you're in the zucking car and watch a zucking movie off Netflix while you're in the car. Yes, high job loss for sure. So in the meantime, there will be such a big effect on society. Think about the fact that all of these zucking terrorists will not have a zucking job because they will be branded. They will be branded. Since we will know who they are, they're not going to be able to go anywhere in the world. They will be limited to wherever their society is. TCATS is now a 404. TCATS has been lost. So TCATS is now a 404. So time for pew pew pew. They get their money from someone. Well, what will happen is that these they will be marginalized even more. I'm telling you, this kind of philosophy that they have, instead of spending the time into productive endeavors, they're doing this thing that is not sustainable in a high technology world that is coming with AI. Their mode is not compatible. In an AI world where everyone knows everything, their mode is not compatible. They will not survive. It will be worse for them than anybody else. It will be worse for all of us because we'll be in a police state. It will be worse for all of us because we'll be a police state. They will be replaced by robots because they say, well, you're zucking idiots over in ISIS because you didn't get educated because you were taught to do battle in an electronic age with robots. You're taught to do battle with your hands, and you have no chance against zucking AI. So they're going to be sucked. I just don't know. I don't. Zuck is behind the I don't really know a way around this. Game over. I don't really know a way around this. The world is changing as we go here. The world is changing. World is changing fast. The world is changing fast, and the world is breeding a little bit of conformity into the agenda. We have to be a bunch of conformists, because if you're a non-conformist, then you are out of the mainstream. Then you'll be blocked out. It's like having a bad credit record. But the record, it'll be your entire internet life. It'll be, I'm telling you, we will have bigger problems than terrorists that are hurting, a few people. Fortunately, the stupid terrorists are not that successful. They hurt, not too many. I mean, many, but not in terms of war. For example, what do they count as the number of people affected by terrorists in the world? Is somewhere around 30,000 a year, which is a big number, but it's compared to war. It's really nothing. If you compare it to war, I mean, quite a few people die from war, and this terrorism actually, promotes war in an isolated way, and war is a justification. Terrorism justifies war. Terrorism justifies war. Terrorism justifies mass surveillance. Terrorism justifies robotics. Terrorism justifies a singularity. Terrorism justifies a police state. Terrorism will change our lives. Terrorism will change our lives, and it's already changing our life in a very, very bad way. And these zucking ISIS people will be the zucking to blame for the change in society that will hurt all of us. They will be the zucking ones to blame. We'll look back in history. We'll look back in history if you're around in 25 years, well, your kids will be around. In 25 years, you're going to look back in history. Wow, and this started because of terrorism. This is going to be the justification for war, justification for mass surveillance, justification for control, police state. Everything will be justified by these zucking terrorists. This is why I hate terrorism. Terrorism, as it is happening today, will cause a loss of freedom for every single human being. Terrorism, terrorism already made travel very difficult. Does it matter if Brax is around in 25 years? Does it really matter? So what? Am I alive in 25 years? That's a bigger question. Will I care if Brax is around 25 years? Because will I be around in 25 years? I hope so. But, I'll be zucking old. Do you think the US dollar will be around for 25 years? I don't know what the effect of society... Ramos, I don't know what the effect of society to a society will be when robotics takes jobs away. There will be bigger problems. When robotics comes in, and it will be cheaper to hire a robot than it is to hire a person, what happens then? Will there be a revolution? Will they then say, these are potential terrorists because these people who lost their jobs will fight back because they're losing their jobs, and so they're potential terrorists, so let's take care of them now? Or will they say, well, we want to appease the masses. The people who lose their jobs will appease the masses. Unless they're from ISIS, then we won't care about them. They can kind of continue to be losers. But the rest of you Americans who lost your jobs, then we'll give you a basic income, universal basic income, and keep you entertained with virtual reality, so you don't have to think about the fact that you don't work. So you don't have to work anymore in the future. So maybe these millennials have it right, because maybe they don't have to work in the future. They're just going to be given a universal basic income. And they're just going to sit around and do AI all day, and that'll be their life. And then they'll say, and that will appease them from going and being revolutionary. I know it is depressing. It is depressing, and I'm 25 years. Not immediately. It's going to be, if people don't listen to me, we are going to that direction. That's what I'm concerned about. Is terrorism and things like this bring about this kind of society that justify this, and in 25 years, what kind of society? I wish I was your age, my age. You don't want to be my age. You want to be your age, Michelle. You don't want to be my age. I'm older than dirt. Skynet must be taken out. You've seen this movie. 25 year Rob and I can be Santa Clauses. 25 years ago, we didn't have laptops, let alone a mobile. Yes, you are Zucked. So, if you're old, you say, well, I'm Zucked anyway because I'm old. I'm going to die and won't matter. But generations of people that follow us will have a bit of a crisis, and the reason I talk about what I talk about is to kind of make people think that, do we want this kind of future? Do we want this kind of future? Elon Musk is actually saying we need a neural lace. He calls it neural lace, and what it is he wants to embed a computer AI in your brain somehow. They actually formed a company for this. He wants to embed something to embed in your brain so that you can be as smart as the AI, or smarter than the AI. So in order to do that, you have to put a computer in your brain. Then you will be able to compete with the AI. I doubt very seriously you're older than dirt. Yeah, I'm older than dirt. So we don't have to think. In theory, then you think faster. Neural lace, yeah, that's Elon Musk's concept. They were actually researching that, and I said, is that really possible? And they're actually talking about embedding some, magnetic things or whatever, molecules in your head that can be controlled from the outside. Am I older than you, pygmy? Barely pygmy. Barely. So he's not older than dirt, but he was an early customer. Bionic arms can do that. Not embedding stuff. What you don't have to embed it. I think you just drink it, and the things go inside your brain, and then they. This is what they're like intending. So is older than dirt a fossil? Apparently, I saw the SpaceX launch and landing of first stage today. Pretty freaking cool. Nanobots. There you go. Nanobots. Yes. So they're actually thinking about externally controlled nanobots that are sitting in your brain and acting, you basically drink the nanobots, and then there's an external thing, some helmet you put on. So they're, thinking about, is this possible? Yeah, smaller than blood cells. They're actually thinking, is this possible? Can this be done? So they're actually researching that now. This is what Elon Musk is researching. Apparently they have some belief that it can be done. A tinfoil hat. Yeah, everyone may have to wear a tinfoil hat. That may be the reality, is that everyone actually wears a tinfoil hat. Funny. Board drones. So anyway, I mean, as much as, terrorism is big in the news today, in spite of the fact, anything new aside from shooting the three suspects, did anything appear in the news while I was here? Terrorism is something big in the news today, and it's a big part of our lives for the short term. But if Braxman is a terrorist organization, so what I'm suggesting to you is, yes, we got to live with this. It's going to be a lot more terrorist stuff in the short run. But fortunately, this as a concept and approach of liberty or ideology for these folks is a dying concept. It's a dying concept, and I pity what's going to happen to future children of these ISIS people. I think they're just shooting for themselves to be in poverty. They're actually bringing themselves to poverty and a worst scenario. Yeah, they might actually be in a camp. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised, because they'll be branded, electronically as being of a certain type. They'll be branded. Wouldn't you doubt that they might embed a chip in these people and say, hey, you've been identified as, believing in terrorism, and you're going to be branded for the rest of your life. Yep. So yep. So will other people? Yes, exactly. So you're going to be told to be in the mainstream. If you're not mainstream, then you're going to be zucked. It's kind of an interesting thing I'm talking about. I'm saying that chances are the people currently being identified as ISIS will be branded. They're not going to be able to escape an AI robotic world. They are not going to escape unless, of course, they say, well, we'll be Luddites in ISIS, and that's even worse. Douchebags. That's funny. So they can fight back and say, well, we will escape this by being Luddites in ISIS land. We're going to be Luddites. Luddites are anti-technology. They back in the Industrial Revolution of Great Britain, or at least in England, back in the days of in the 1800s, in the Industrial Revolution of England, the Luddites were a group of people that said, we don't want these mechanized. I think they were dealing primarily with what do you call to make yarn and make cloth. Those machines, they didn't want to use machines. They were the anti-machine people. What do you call those? whatever not the sewing, but the act to make cloth. Yeah, the gin, cotton gin, the looms. Yes, the looms. They said, well, we don't want the looms. We don't want the looms. We want to do it by hand. And yeah, so there are Luddites. Yes. So the Luddites were loomies. So they were anti-technology because they were thinking, it's against their religious belief or whatever it was. Okay, weren't the Quakers like that too? Amish, of course. The Amish are the same. So the ISIS people can say. Yep, we're going to be Luddites so we can escape the technology. But then they'll be put in a world where everything is run by robotics, and then the ISIS people, if they say we're going to be Luddites, then they're the Muslim version of Luddites. They will actually have no technology, in which case they're going to be zucked even more. And ISIS will say, well, we need to turn our generation to zucking hackers and turn into, cyber folk here and attack in cyber. And we're going to come back and say, no, you're going to be zucked. You're going to be zucked because, in this surveillance society that you zucking cause, ISIS, in a surveillance society that you zucking cause, that ISIS will have caused, we will be in a bigger crisis, and they will cause it, and they are going to end up, in a worst case society wise. These people have no zucking vision. These ISIS people have no zucking vision. They really have no idea of technology. They're back in the dark ages. They're looking at their Quran and saying, let's look for any indication of what we're going to do here. And they have no idea of society. They have no idea of society. I mean technology, not society. They have no idea of technology. And they're going to be overridden by technology, and it's going to be quite interesting. Quite interesting. So I'm actually, we need to step away. I know we have to talk about technology today because it's a zucking problem with terrorism today, and it's going to be an increase of this in the short run. It's going to be an increase of this, but in the long run, they can have their AI versions. They can have their AI versions in this world. They don't have to wait for later. What is the most plausible way to halt this carnage? I would like to hear your ideas. That's what I was saying. The carnage is going to end. Technology will just naturally end it. Technology. Let me repeat what I'm trying to say. Technology will end the carnage naturally. Technology is moving at a pace that will not allow these kinds of things to flourish. Technology will wipe out terrorism. Unfortunately, technology in response to terrorism is going to bring a world that we won't like. Technology is going to bring a society that will bring a different set of problems that we are not going to like. And it's going to be a society that's run by big data, run by robotics, run by artificial intelligence. And it's a society that will not tolerate marginalized ideas. You have to be conformist. If you're not a conformist, you will not belong, and you will be deprived of opportunities just because you're non-conformist. This is the fear that I have, that terrorism is bringing this change to us. Terrorism, big data is not the boss of me. Terrorism is bringing this change to us. This is why I hate terrorism, because it actually accelerates the move to what I refer to as Skynet. Terrorism is actually, I'll take 23, Zucked. Terrorism is accelerating the move to zucking Skynet. And that is the biggest fear, because we will have different problems. That's the problem with the world. You try to solve one problem and you think there will be peace. And don't you like to be like a
a Miss World contestant. You go up to stage and say, why, what is your biggest, goal in life? And then the typical contestant will say, world peace. And unfortunately, world peace. Great scope. Thank you, Q Electron. It's funny. My topic is so Miss Universe will be an inflatable. My topic is very political in a way, but in a way it's not. It's very political. It's very religious, but it's not. It's very funny. So in some ways, I'm actually thinking I'm going to have a bigger fight tonight than I am having here. I'm shocked I'm not getting a fight because I'm actually expecting a fight. But what is very interesting about what I'm saying is yes, world peace. So that's the problem. Can world peace happen? There will always be injustice in the world, and unfortunately, when you don't have freedom, injustice is controlled by a few with power, and this is really what's. I believe everything you say. Oh, thank you, Ali. But it's just a fear for me that the injustice in the world will remain because a new set of injustices will come in. The current set of injustices that you feel is happening has to do with terrorism. The next batch of problems will be about the police state and information control, robotics, AI, and things that stop terrorism. And the argument will always be, and remember this to your dying day what I tell you, because you will remember me saying this, because they will use, in 20, 25 years, when there are no terrorists anymore, they will say, see what we did that's positive for you people? We've eliminated terrorism. Because of what we did, we eliminated terrorism. And you're going to say, that's good. That's good. Terrorism will be looking back in history. Yes, they did eliminate terrorism, but the problem is, in 25 years, are you going to be happy? Will you feel free? If we don't change because we're being driven by the events of terrorism today, if we don't change, we will have a worse society. So, in conclusion, this is really what I'm trying to imply here. In conclusion, this is what I'm really trying to imply. Don't overreact to the terrorism. Don't overreact. Don't overreact and say, because of terrorism, let's use it to justify mass surveillance and AI and government control, because that's a worse problem. So yes, terrorists. If you just naturally, if you naturally keep the data collection at the pace it's going, even if you don't get into the Skynet stage of AI and control, terrorism will just be more difficult to do because of all the tracking. But we don't want the tracking to go beyond the need for terrorism. We don't want it to go beyond that. And it will, and the only way that it will not go beyond that is if you listen to me and say, draw a line in the sand and say, not everything is justified by terrorism. Terrorism doesn't justify every single action that might affect people's freedoms. It doesn't justify all that. Too late. And yeah, unfortunately, it's getting to that stage. Unfortunately, it's getting to that stage. And I'm saying, stop. AI systems do not need artificial emotive algorithms. Yeah, but what do they have? A robotic control decided upon by a master like Zucked? Oh, it's like, I don't know. I mean, some of these ideas about robotics, just robotics is really our men
How are you? Yes, haven't been around in a while. So the only permit I have, it's the Second Amendment. Yep. Where's my Zucking Second Amendment right here? Second Amendment right here. Okay. Got this. Yes, it has an orange tip, but watch this, guys. Okay. It does have an orange tip, so but it'll be loud. It'll be loud. Okay? It'll be loud. So, it'll be loud. So warning you right now. Okay? Warning you right now. Giving you sufficient warning here. Okay, here we go. Pew pew. I need like a, what is the, is it the Mogadishu thing? That's three shots. Did you order my twin? I'm sure they banned that in California. Pew pew. AI without emotions. By the way, talking about emotions and emojis, talking about zucking emojis. What the zuck, people? An emoji zucking movie? OMG! Nelly will be watching that in a flash. Emoji movies? What the zuck? An emoji zucking movie. Is anybody gonna watch that? Oh my God, you got your tickets. I didn't know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I'm gonna look at the emoji movie and say, what the zuck are they doing in there? Yep, emoji zucking movie. Oh my gosh. I don't know. So not enough drugs in the world to watch it. So why not? Why not? So yeah, emoji zucking movie is in the theaters right zucking now. Or coming soon. I am not zucking watching some snip snip. Don't get the 556 and you all know. So say it ain't so. Yes, zucking emoji movie. Zuck. We've been like, we're being zucked by technology, and here we're gonna be zucked by zucking emojis. Okay? So what's next? Now that we have emoji movies. Where's Nelly? Now that we have emoji movies, are we gonna have zucking emoji books? Are we gonna have emoji books? I have to read a book and look at and try to understand what a zucking author is saying with zucking emojis. OMG. OMG. A zucking emoji, a zucking book full of emojis. I'm not gonna zucking read a book with zucking emojis. Do you think embedded trackers will become mandatory? You don't have to, Larry, because they have facial recognition. Facial recognition is so accurate now. Currently, facial recognition done by Facebook is 98% accurate. Okay, in all positions, you can move your head up and down. 98% accurate. Okay, so how the zuck do you, that's getting close to 100%. So how the zuck do you, he's emoji illiterate. Yep, I am. Do you have emojis in Braille? What the zuck? Come on, you want the plush toys, the emoji toys. Thank God for beers and NASCAR. Everything else is okay except for the internet. It's the best. Any way to get around it? What, emoji movies and emoji books? I didn't know the accuracy. It's very, very high. So what happened, Larry, is because of facial recognition that they are using in the UK. Because of facial recognition, they can actually track somebody in the UK with their cameras in every street corner. Somebody said there are 60,000 cameras in the UK. I don't know if that's accurate, but 60,000 cameras. So they can basically track a person moving from location to location in the UK just by watching, these cameras. And with facial recognition, you're zucked. You're zucked. With facial recognition, and if it's anywhere near as accurate as Facebook, you're zucked. London, yes. no loop emoji, tube emoji. It's probably more than that. So yeah, probably not counting private cameras. And everyone's putting surveillance cameras outside their house. all of the IoT devices, cameras. I mean, we are like changing the world. We are changing the zucking world, and we don't even realize it. We're changing the world, and we're like going on. It's like the millennials start saying, "Oh, what a nice world! Everything about my life is zucking Twitter. My whole life is on zucking Periscope, and I have nothing to fear. Let's put my life on the zucking internet." And it's like you don't even know what you're doing to your zucking life. You don't even have any idea. And if you're a zucking terrorist, well, you're zucked already, so you don't have to worry. Zucking terrorists, they're gonna get you. So zucking terrorists, you know, ISIS, you're zucked. You're already zucked. So I'm not gonna go worry about you, ISIS. You're zucked. I worried about the rest of us. The rest of us who are not zucking ISIS. That's what I'm worried about. ISIS, you're already zucked. So if you think that you're going to get away from, by ISIS. If you think ISIS is going to survive, we say, we're going to use zucking encryption and all that. No, I know how it's all done. You are zucked. You are zucked. You are zucked from birth. They will have a picture of you on the internet from the time you're zucking babies. They will identify your face and chip you. And for the rest of your life, every interface on the internet will associate a thought with that photo, and you are going to be zucked. Okay, and Zuck will make sure you're zucked. They're going to get it. Yeah, in GitHub. They'll be on GitHub. So they're going to be zucked anyway. So I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about us. What about the rest of us? Yes, Larry. Are you? If you're Larry Page and Sergey Brin, Sergey Brin's wife runs 23andMe. Sergey Brin's wife. Google Sergey Brin and Larry Page. Sergey Brin's wife runs 23andMe, the DNA company. We are zucked. Zuck's gonna make sure you're zucked hard. Yes. So this is the good thing that's gonna come from Zuck. Zuck will make sure there are no terrorists. Okay. He will have done something good in his life because he will make sure there are no zucking terrorists. Okay, got it. So Zuck will ensure, and so will Eric Schmidt, Larry Page, and Sergey Brin. They will make sure there will be no zucking terrorists. Okay, good. However, that's not the end of the story. So that's not the end of the story, and that's what I worry about. So don't overreact with the terrorists, because they will bring about a massive negativity to our lives. It will justify government control of our lives in a way that we would have never predicted. Exactly, Larry. That's what I fear. And you know what? These terrorists will be responsible for this nonsense. This would have been the fault of the zucking terrorists. The reason will be in this new world. It will be because of the terrorists. So look, every time I go on Periscope, my numbers keep dropping. Now, I'm gonna reach in this scope again. I'm gonna be scoping to 1,200 viewers by the time I get done. Wow, what's happening to Periscope? Wow, from 10,000 a night, I will end up with 1,200, 1,300. You can catch a terrorist, but the law stay forever. Yeah, that's the problem. That's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. Is that people are leaving Periscope as well. So yes, that should be obvious. And it's Periscope's fault. Periscope's fault because they were promoting the useless things like drones and 360s and things, rather than some serious material of content. So, voice for silent. Okay, your favorite song? I'm not playing your favorite song. Eventually I will, but that's not right now. We'll be playing your non-favorite song. notice? Thank you guys. Don't worry, terrorists can't get the 762. They can't get 762? You sure they can't get 762? By 39? Of course they can get it. As long as they can get some 556. Because 556 is more accurate. We don't want to get these terrorists some 556. Right?
Nothing positive. Music is positive. Oh yeah, Oreos will be around. Virtual reality will be fun. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry that in the future you will find that virtual reality will keep you occupied. In fact, you won't worry about the fact that robotics is taking over your jobs, because you will be enjoying yourself in the new version of Periscope, which is going to be virtual reality. Instead of hanging around in Periscope watching people through other people's eyes, you bring your body to the UK and go watch the event right there live. You're just going to go to the UK directly, and you're just going to go enjoy yourself, and then you can talk to your buddy next to you and say, what do you think about that? And you can actually talk about an event in real time, and you're going to enjoy this. And it is fun. Yes, Zucking scary. Yeah, it will be fun. I'm going to tell you right now. I envision this will be the fun part of the future. It just has so much negativity attached to it. So unfortunately, it's not alone. And the other thing that somebody asked was, you don't know what I was saying with 762 and 556. So if you don't know what that means, I know what it means. It means 7.62 millimeter by 39, which is the ammo for an AK-47. So every terrorist in ISIS carries a AK-47, and they have those Russian 7.62 by 39. That's those weapons. And I refer to 5.56 or 5.56 millimeter, which is the ammo of an M16, an M4, and an AR-15. So those are the weapons. They use 5.56. So Americans tend to use 5.56 in war. 75 grain. You got that precisely. And automatic is an M16. 223 and 9 mil. Well, 223, it's the same basic ammo as 5.56. So 223 caliber is a 5.56. 5.56 will mow them down. Yes. So just 223 on my particular weapons will be interchangeable with 5.56. So 5.56 millimeter is the same as it's similar, not exactly the same, but compatible with most versions of AR-15s, and it's a 223 caliber Remington. Wrong weapon. So 223 caliber Remington is compatible with 5.56 millimeter NATO. That's what it's called, 5.56 NATO. So the 5.56 better than the 223 rounds. Whatever's cheaper, I'll take it. I'll take 223, 5.56, whatever is on sale. We'll see energy weapons, yes. Who's in the emoji movie? Zucking emojis. Who's in the Zucking emoji movie? Do you shoot often? How do you know if I shoot often? I shoot my airsoft right here. There, airsoft. My 1911 airsoft. That's what I shoot here. Other than that, you don't know what the Zuck I have. You don't know anything. Get them. I shoot every day. Oh my gosh, how can you shoot every day when you're zucking traveling around? What happens to the data of a person so profile when merged with? Are you a gun nut? No, I'm not a gun nut, but why would you call me a nut? I am not a nut of any sort. But if you come in through my door, then I'll be okay. He must be out of the county. 45 cals get expensive to shoot every day. I don't want to shoot 45 cals every day because this is airsoft. It shoots plastic. Yes, because I'm not a big guy, I can't use martial arts. Whatever you say, Nico. Yes, of course I'm reading your comments. I'm reading Nico's comments. It's like, you know, Zuck you, Nico. Zuck you. Anybody have any complaints with my scope? Anybody have any complaints with my scope while I'm showing the zucking news about terrorists right in that zucking corner? Did anybody have any complaint about that? If you have any complaints, speak out now and tell Nico what your complaint is. Was it tasteless to put the terrorists on the right side as I'm talking here in my topic? Okay, so there you go, zucking Nico. Oh my gosh. Nico 745. Yep. So there you go. So So there you go, Nico. You've been zucked. You know, it's funny. Then watch the whole scope. Then you'll see if. Okay, you watch the whole scope and see if you come in at the tail end and you say, "What the zuck are you doing? Playing zucking music to a zucking terrorist thing?" It's like OMG, Nico. Go watch the entire scope, okay? Don't make a comment about something at the zucking end like it actually fits. It doesn't fit. Okay? If you're thinking I get extra views because I'm putting this on the right side, then no, I didn't zucking get any views. I barely got anybody watching me. So obviously it didn't have any effect anyway. Because it fits. It's what I'm talking about. No, Periscope is completely out of whack now. So, yep. Either that or I'm just boring. It could be just me. But of course, what's really happening is you notice that I actually get the viewers if I'm on the global list. I'm actually, if I show up on the global list, then I actually get the viewers. But the issue now is that I rarely show up on the global list. So, Periscope wants to put focus on the useless scopes. Useless scopes on Periscope, and that's what you see. People with no content, and they don't promote the people with content, so therefore, that's what we have here. Nonsense. That's what Periscope is known for now. Nonsense. So, and you wonder why we're losing people here. Not you must show Bob's. So anyway. What does that now? I got to figure out what I'm going to play now. So let's play something peaceful, happy stuff. Happy stuff. No, yeah, but I'm not. If I go in global, I'm going to get the viewers. If I go in global, I was, and then I left global. Thank you. Thank you. And we have Taximan here. We have Taximan here from London. So we actually have somebody watching us from London right now. So that's a song that's kind of a song of peace to just make us feel a little bit better. Taxi Man. So make us feel a little bit better about the zucking crazies in zucking. Can you play the theme to Taxi? I got to learn the melody. It's one of the things I need to practice soon. I actually want to play it at a gig, so I will learn it. I just haven't learned it yet. So I don't know the tune at the moment. Play Misty. Okay, I'll play Misty. Do you want me to play Misty like... Let me look at the chords. I'm like guessing here. And I already made a mistake. I'm losing my position here. Hold on, Amir. So, Amir, one other, I didn't see you. You weren't here when the Manchester attacks were happening. So Amir is in Manchester. So Amir is in Manchester. So just when I was scoping that, he wasn't around then. Obviously he was sleeping. I didn't actually scope that day. I scoped the news. I was 10 minutes away from it. Wow. So if you call that messing up, keep messing up. Yes, I'm messing up because I actually was reading comments and I forgot my position. And here I am again talking about a repeat. It's like, goodness, we're just zick and zucking, tired of all these zucking stupid terrorists that are doing more and more things that will lead to worse things than just death. It will lead to change in society that we're not going to like. So anyway, so welcome, Amir. Glad you're awake today, and sorry to hear about more crisis over there where you are, Amir. And let me just close off with a little music here from Anonymous. You like this tune?